Destiny builds are oftentimes a complicated system, having several moving parts that all come together to create something incredible. But today I'm going to show you something so powerful, yet so simple, it can be executed to perfection with ease like you wouldn't believe. But a build so beautiful in its simplicity should be experienced on frame rates capable of showcasing its splendor. So I partnered with Apex Gaming PCs to construct a personal line of top quality gaming PCs that will have you running Destiny 2 at more than 3 times the visual quality than that of a console. You can save up to $250 using my code at checkout, which is a steal considering that I can honestly say that my PC is the best investment I've ever made. If you trust me with your builds, you can trust me with the system you play them on too. Now getting onto today's build, it all kicks off with the Controverse Hold Warlock exotic gauntlets, which are a bit more complex than you might think. First and foremost, these gauntlets grant 20% damage resistance while charging grenades, made possible through aspects we'll touch on in a moment. The main benefit provided by these gloves that you know and love is of course increased grenade regeneration on charged grenade hits. Specifically when hitting an enemy with a charged grenade, you gain a 2000% increase to your grenade regeneration rate for 1.75 seconds on a 4-second activation cooldown. We'll talk about why that activation cooldown component is so crucial in a moment, but first let's look at the grenade we'll be throwing with these gloves, the Vortex Grenade, an area of effect damaging field that lasts for 3.2 seconds, damaging all enemies inside of it. But the thing that really marries these two pieces together is our first aspect, Chaos Accelerant, which allows you to charge your grenades by holding your grenade button before throwing. For our grenade of choice specifically, a charged Vortex Grenade has a 70% increased radius and persists for a total of 4.2 seconds, one additional second than the original 3.2. Now, that might not seem like it matters that much, but that 1 second grenade duration increase is everything when it comes to this build. Remember when I said that the 1.75 second 2000% Controverse Hold regeneration buff has a 4-second activation cooldown? Well, with our charged Vortex Grenade lasting 4.2 seconds, this means that if we hit enemies with both the initial impact and the last few ticks of our grenade, we will proc the Controverse regeneration twice with a single grenade. This double proc can occur on both large packs of squishy enemies or a single tanky stationary enemy, making it incredible for both low and high-end content like Grandmaster Nightfalls with champions and bosses. Now, this double Controverse proc will not always be possible, so it's important to have a few other ways to consistently and conveniently refund grenade energy to keep our grenade throws going, and method number 1 to that will be the Devour buff. Now, I know you might be thinking, wait, Mac, I thought Devourer was a buff that granted a full HP heal and a 5-second extension to itself on enemy final blows, and you are 100% correct. But what most don't know is that the Devourer buff also refunds grenade energy on enemy final blows relative to the tier of the defeated enemy. Do me a favor and consider throwing a charged Vortex Grenade at those like and subscribe buttons down below if you didn't know that before watching this video. Now, we know that the Devourer buff is crucial to maximizing our survivability in difficult content and keeping our grenades topped off. But how exactly are we going to acquire it in the first place? Well, we have 2 possible routes that we can go. The more traditional option is to fit aspect slot number 2 with Feed the Void, which simply grants Devour on all grenade kills. However, in my gameplay, I found an alternative option to be just as effective while allowing for a lot more utility from my class ability. Given that the current sandbox makes orb of power generation and pickup as common as something like reloading your primary weapon, I actually love to acquire my Devour buff through the Echo of Starvation fragment, which grants Devour on Orb of Power and Void Void Breach pickup. Running this fragment completely absolves us of the need of the Feed the Void aspect, allowing us to instead opt into Child of the Old Gods for a weakening Void Soul on class ability cast that attaches to the next enemy you damage with a weapon. Another thing I love about running Child of the Old Gods over Feed the Void is that it also grants class ability energy when killing an enemy afflicted by this Void Soul, allowing for even more grenade energy through some of the mods we will touch on in a moment. And if that wasn't enough, when the Void Soul is attached to an enemy, it creates a 10-meter draining field that damages all enemies and refunds grenade and melee energy when using a healing rift, or HP per second when using empowering rift, with more enemies in the draining field resulting in higher refund amounts respectively. Now, joining the Echo of Starvation in the fragment category will be the Echoes of Persistence and Undermining. The Echo of Persistence increases the duration of all void buffs, specifically Devour in our case, by 5 seconds, while the Echo of Undermining allows void grenades to weaken, further increasing the damage both they and the weapons from us and our allies will deal to the enemies that they hit. Now, as for our mods, we'll want to focus on Orb Generation, Grenade Refund, weapon buffs, and super energy, beginning with Firepower on the gloves, Reaper on the class item, and a Siphon mod on the helmet, matching your primary weapon element, all to generate orbs of power through various means. We'll then make use of the armor charge stacks acquired from scavenging these orbs of power, with 2 surge mods also matching the element of our primary weapon for a 17% weapon damage buff when armor charged. In addition to those, we'll also want a few contingencies to generate on-demand grenade and class ability refund just in case, through 2 copies of Bomber on the class item, Impact Induction and Bolstering Detonation on the gloves, and if you have room for it, 1 copy of Innervation on the boots. And finally, since we'll be getting a crazy amount of grenade kills, it only makes sense to round it all out with Ashes to Assets on the helmet. From there, slap on some resists and reserves and some stat mods of your choosing, prioritizing resilience, discipline, and intellect in that order, and you'll be off to the races. And as usual, you've got a Destiny item manager link down in the description to copy this build over to your Guardian in just 1 click. Now, typically this is the part where I tell you how the build works, but that isn't really necessary as it really boils down to throw grenades at everything that moves. Like I said before, this is a simple build for those who enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Sleeping in late, winning an argument, peeling that plastic off of your new Apex gaming PC, and of course, subscribing to Mactics down below. Feel free to stop by my live stream or join my Discord server if you have any additional questions about the build or to recommend a build for me to make a video on next. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great day.